Hello once again, my friends. It is I, your friend Moonhorse, who was weirdly close to the microphone just now because I had to put a thing down. Anyway, let's read a story. I know you're excited. I always am. Let's do this. This is The Baron and the Gnome, a nice people tale. Okay. Hey, Uncle Moonhorse. Hello. And the Celestial Herd. So I had to make a new account here so I could send this story to you and not let those involved know of this story being told to the masses. Ooh. I'm going to make some spelling and grammar mistakes, and I'm sorry about that. So everyone get comfortable with a chilled drink and let me tell this tale of two nice people I grew up with and how I got dragged into their toxic relationship. Oh, jeez. For context, and to set the image in your minds, I'm a guy, currently 24, but during these events I was between 16 and 19. I have black hair, usually in an organized mop. I'm about 5'9", athletic build, and pretty average looking. What's important to know is that I'm quite socially awkward and one of the borderline weird kids, but I was and still am goofy and lovable idiot, hence why I'm here and able to get away with a lot of dumb shit. Oh, and before you can complain about us damn kids, you're Uncle Moonhorse, not Cousin Moonhorse, for a reason. For this story, I'll write myself in as Cuboid. I wasn't going to say that, but now that you brought that up, it feels weird. Yeah, no, I'm well aware that there are people who watch this who are younger than me, and I love every single one of you. Then we have Baron. Named for his family's wealth and how often he'd show it off. He was slightly taller than me, about 5'11", and quite buff due to constant sport and gym activities. We also played rugby together, where we strengthened our friendship after he was introduced to me by one of my best friends, FIFA. Baron was a loudmouth and had an ego bigger than an obese person, making it into Willy Wonka's chocolate factory. He loved to put others down and in their place and was generally an asshole who had a good heart with no social concept at all. Then we have the Gnome. I'm naming her as such because of her height, 5'2", and for the fact that she was funny at first to deal with, but later became really annoying, similar to the gnome meme that was going around this year. Her laugh sounded like a ticklish piglet being tickled by a feather. That is incredibly specific. She was in my year before Baron moved up a year, due to the Irish school system, and she is the manipulator of our tale. Oh joy. Honorable members of this tale who play a lesser role include FIFA, the charming, musically gifted of the group, and my first best friend, Pure Irish, the Irish one of all of us, and another friend of mine will be called PI for this. Love interest, the Baron's first love before moving on to Gnome. More on this story later. My ex-girlfriend, girlfriend at the time, and friend group, a gaggle of nerds that I called friends. So, let us begin this story. I met both Baron and Gnome at our secondary school from other friends, high school for those of you not from Ireland, and we only had our group, all in the same year, 5th year, second to last year of school. This is also the year that the real drama started. During this time, Baron had cemented himself into the friend group, and so everyone kind of sat at our lunch table, which included love interest. Unknown to me, Baron had developed a very heavy crush on her, and began to act as alpha as a silverback gorilla, attempting to woo her in similar methods such as arguing everything in a deep voice, getting as buff as he can, and wearing tight clothes at PE since everyone had to wear a uniform in normal class, and throwing shapes, as the slang goes in my town. Throwing shapes means to walk with an unnecessary swagger to those curious. While he had attempted all that, I met GF in art class. And after a friend got us to talk to each other, we quickly bonded, and within a week she had left a very different boy that she was dating because she didn't feel like it was a good relationship and felt generally unsafe, and My naive ass thought it'd be great to flirt and ask her out since we had this chemistry together. In defense of her, her ex stalked us for a month. The fact that he was a neckbeard really didn't help. Sorry for getting sidetracked. Anyway, I ended up becoming the relationship advice guy, and I had people often bouncing thoughts off of me to help clear the picture of what they want or what they should do for their BF/GF, whatever. I ended up helping both FIFA and PI get girlfriends, but both end up breaking up with them in a few months after dating. Seeing this, Baron decides that I am the man for the job to help him woo his lady love. I give him as much advice as I can, but always make sure to say, look, these are just my thoughts, or that's just my opinion. With the info, he starts to successfully woo his love interest into becoming best friends. Yeah, he got quote-unquote friend-zoned. Turns out she wasn't as interested in him as he was in her. In his wooing attempt, he had enlisted another's help for his mission, Gnome. See, Gnome was one of love interest's great friends, and the two of them, with another girl, had their own kind of clique in the group. They were all from poor areas that were known for being kind of rough. P.I. was also from this area, but learned more like a machine, which I admire, and has become a great engineer. So when the wooing of love interest failed, he turned to his friends, which included this new girl, our best friend, Gnome. Myself, FIFA, and Gnome all received 3 a.m. calls of Baron crying and asking what he did wrong and why she didn't love him and all these other similar things. Both FIFA and myself had experienced this a few times before, so this was nothing but another emotional rant, but to Gnome this became something more, and about a month after this, they were a couple. They also became the bane of my final years in Ireland before I left to live in different countries. Every time I had to go to a party, which as teenagers in a small town was rather often, they would argue, which, me being the mediator for people, I was often chasing this goblin down to talk to her, even if it meant abandoning my other friends to calm her down over really dumbass things that I didn't really have the time or patience, but, awkward and I want to help, so there I am, chasing the sprinting goblin on a frequent 2 a.m. night. Every time I'd fix it, there'd be a mess the next party, or a new mess, or just something. And then began the breakups. They began breaking up and getting back together. This happened every goddamn month or two for a year. Every time Baron would call me and FIFA crying about it. And we're both caring and listened to these 3 a.m. calls at first, but as they happened more and more, our fucks for this left out the back garden faster and faster. During this time, we had our final exams, and my girlfriend left me, which wrecked me mentally quite hard, and I ended up being kind of an alcoholic and ignoring their issues for a while. Oh, jeez. When I returned to a horrible, sober reality, it didn't take long for them to hit me with their newest breakup and 3 a.m. crying phone calls. This is where I start to not give a fuck and try to end the cycle. So I told him, don't get back with her, and that he deserves better than this. The next day, they're a couple again. God fucking damn it. That's strike 1. Then after another breakup, I was hit with the manipulation that Gnome had used on Baron. She had lulled him into believing every single problem was his fault, and threatened to call the Garda, the Irish police, to arrest him on rape charges, even though that was some really twisted bedroom roleplay thing that they did often. This made me very, very much dislike her, and have pity on Baron, but that wasn't to last long. Strike 2. Then I started retail work at around Christmas, which is hell incarnate. The final straw happened just after Christmas. Another fight, another fucking breakup, and FIFA had also gotten fed up and just became very short and curt with him. But I didn't know what I knew about the threat of false rape charges, as they were never brought to the police. I get a call again with the same old rant and tears from Baron. I had become cold and disinterested in being in their relationship or being their relationship therapist, and told them, look, just don't get back together. She's toxic and cruel, and when drunk would bolt off like a hobbit chased by a screaming ring wraith with its balls in a vice and huffed on and hopped up on helium balloons. He seemed to take this to heart and reluctantly agreed. I was thankful, went to sleep. Then the shit hit the fan for me. No, actually, it was more like the fucking septic tank exploded. I get bombarded with messages from Gnome asking why did I say this, and that she informed me that they had gotten back together that morning, and he rattled off everything that I had said. Oh, fuck you. I messaged both of them that exact message and then blocked them. They tried to rekindle a friendship with me, but I told them to shove it where the Lord doesn't give light and maintained no contact ever since. Sorry for the long story. I wanted this to be one story and got very bitter. I hope you all enjoyed this, and Moonhorse, if you read this, I want to say thank you, and I want you to know that you have the sweetest soul and seem to be our very protective uncle that I'm very proud to say is ours. Oh, well, aren't you just the sweetest? If you want more stories, just let me know. I finished a year in China, and it feels as crazy as you describe Walmart to be. I bought a dog from a restaurant. My friend was arrested because he's foreign, and a girl I dated for a week got engaged to another guy. Thanks, everyone, and enjoy life. Yours, Cuboid. Oh, boy. You know, every now and then, I think I've said this before, but every now and then you guys send me a story, and it brings me into a kind of deviation where I get to tell a story of my own. It doesn't happen very often, because a lot of times, you know, my reading weird stories and neckbeard stories and all these other things doesn't really deviate into this. But every now and then it does. Oh, this one reminds me very much of being much younger, and I feel you on this one, Cuboid. I was one of those people that everybody would send messages and come to when they wanted advice, and then would immediately do the exact opposite thing. So, I'm sure that it may not be everybody, and maybe not everybody has had that moment, but I'm sure that there is a number of us who have been there and have had that moment. And, oh God, it is the worst. Because it's not that they ignored you. That's not really the issue. If you are a person who's ever been in this position, then you know right now what I mean. But for those of you who don't, people like us who tend to have this happen a lot know that they're going to ignore at least some of us. Ignoring is common. We expect it. So it's not that they ignored you. It's the fact that they continue to fucking ask. Because at that point, it's like, why do you care what I have to say on what's happening around you? Why do you fucking care about my advice if you're never going to listen to it? Why do you keep coming back if everything I say you do the exact opposite of? Because it already seems at that point the only thing you really want is someone to reinforce an idea. But you have no backing on that idea, so you're immediately going to back down from it. And that's the part that makes you the most insane about it. It's not that they don't listen, it's that they keep asking the same question fucking forever. That is what makes you insane. I know exactly how our friend Cuboid feels. I knew people like that when I was just out of high school. Not really in high school, but when I was in my 20s, I would have friends and friends of friends who were just like, but I don't know what to do about my relationship with this person. It's like, well, they're cheating on you. You should obviously not go back to them. Yeah, I'm going to keep dating him for the next 6 months. Okay, well, why the fuck did you ask me? Like, what was the point of our interaction? Like, I'm truly confused. And then, of course, when everything shit hits the fan, they come back. Same fucking thing. So it's like, eventually you just have to learn that you just don't care. Just start shutting certain people down because they're not going to listen. And it's like, okay, well, it's really obvious you don't want actual advice. You just want someone to reinforce whatever it is you're already thinking. And I mean, if that's the case, you don't need me to do that. So, ooh, you know? You don't want somebody who's going to challenge your actual view already, and you just want to keep doing whatever it is you're doing. So, you know, knock yourself out with that one, buckaroo. So, yeah, I totally know how you feel. Also, these two sound fucking lovely. They remind me of every shitty couple I had to know through my high school years and into my 20s. Oh, how wonderful those times are. Everybody's an asshole. Thankfully, most people grow out of that. That's my good advice. So, if you enjoyed this, please like, comment, and subscribe. It helps the channel grow, and it kind of fucks with YouTube's algorithm, which is really funny to me. And if you would please, that's not a word. I'm not going to edit that out either. I'm going to leave that in there because I fucked it up. If you would please, consider donating to Patreon or buying something from the merch store. And I will say this because apparently I don't advertise enough stuff. When it comes to the Patreon, if you donate enough, your name does end up at the end of every video. However, if you donate anything at all, your name ends up on the scroll on every live stream, which I have every Saturday night. So, you know, you could totally be like internet famous. Just saying. I can't really fucking sell that. It's internet famous. But anyway, I love you all so very much. I don't know what else to say. I said that as if I had something else to follow it. I kind of don't. But I do love you guys, and this is kind of fun. So, you know, come hang out with me again next time. I love you all. I keep saying that. I'm going to say it one more time. Love you. Okay, bye.